I mean, these two drivers have been effectively the class of this field in the qualifying race, and Richard Westbrook has seesawed between 1.3 and 1.6 seconds, but there's more pressure coming. Look at the back of the Nissan being pressured now by Stefan Dusseldorf, and Nicky Catsburg will, well, with 3.5 or 3 minutes 50 seconds remaining, probably the best part of 2 and a bit laps. Corvette's pulled over.
That's a shame. We've already had one of the Exim Bank Team China cars out of the race because of contact earlier on. Great battling going into the final corner. That's going to compromise the Nissan's line. Can the Aston get it? All sorts of wheel spin on the exit. Got a little bit sideways. They're going to be right together as they head over the start-finish line. This is the battle for 4th position and a second row starting slot for tomorrow's championship race. It's the Nissan in front of Nicky Catsburg. Behind is the number 3 Aston Martin of Stef Dusseldorf. He darts to the outside line to try and get the better cutback, and that'll maybe put him in good stead for the run down into turn 4 and 5, but that's a one-line corner, so it doesn't matter how wide you go in.
I mean, other than being pig ignorant and forcing your way, and we have seen a bit of that this afternoon in all fairness, but the Aston Martin Stef Dusseldorf isn't close enough at this point, and he doesn't need to be close enough anyway, because there's very little that he's able to do. We see the Corvette just on the exit of turn 6, waved yellow flag indicating no overtaking in that zone, but it isn't essentially an overtaking zone anyway, although we have had 1 or 2 maneuvers. But up through turn 9, oh, a lock-up from Jamie Campbell-Walter, and that again will play to the strengths of the Aston Martin. Clivio Piccioni is on that one straight away. Yeah. He's picked it up, but unfortunately Stef Dusseldorf didn't manage to run down the Nissan sufficiently into turn 11, but an indication that Jamie Campbell-Walter is under pressure.
Nicky Catsburg in the fourth leg. It's Jamie Campbell-Walter one place further up in the other Sumo GT car, so down into the left-hander at turn 14 they come. Only 2 minutes to go, so our race leader, has he just come across the line? We might have a couple of laps still out of this. Into the final corner.
Struggling for grip.
He read that though, didn't he? Covered the inside line.
Now he's got to deal with the speed of the Aston Martin, which will gain some aerodynamic advantage by being so close. It's a question of whether the grunt of Nissan will outdo the sophisticated B12 of the Aston Martin. Catsburg goes one way to the left to defend, to take the racing line. He actually pulls away from the Aston under sheer horsepower, and unfortunately Stef Dusseldorf can't do much, and again holds the tight inside line, forcing the long way around, frustrating Dusseldorf. I think that Nissan is struggling with his tyres. He shouldn't be getting out of shape into the entry of such a slow corner. Through turn 15 up to 16 and 17, he was so defensive. I mean, that's the most defensive I've seen of anybody in this race, and I suspect it's tyre and or brake related. I guess when you're sitting in an Aston Martin like that, the Nissans must look absolutely huge, because they're quite big cars and wide cars as well, so it probably looks like the widest car on the circuit for... It's like driving down the motorway following a 43-ton truck. Yeah, absolutely. So here we go then. This is where Catsburg locked up last time on the run-up into the chicane. No such lockups this time. Takes quite a lot of curb on the left-hand kink. We've got 45 seconds remaining, so I'm not 100% sure where Maxime Martin is on the circuit, but he will be starting his final lap fairly soon and defending at every single corner. This is going to be compromised him into turn 13. He's got the cutback, so great racing there, and it moves up into that position. Nicky Catsburg losing out to Stef Dusseldorf. He took that defensive line into 12, and as soon as he did that, you knew what was coming. Absolutely, I mean, but well thought out by Stef Dusseldorf, because he saw that the Nissan was struggling, but he had to enable, he controlled, in fact, Nicky Catsburg from his car, and that's what racing drivers can do. They can force issues by doing one thing and putting the driver that you're putting under pressure, under even greater pressure. So out, the yellow flag still waving because of that Team China car, but the 41 car of Maxime Martin really has been maybe not a class of his own today. He's been pegged all the way by Peter Dumbreck and Richard Westbrook, but as he comes into the step for the final time, it's a very comfortable lead that he's got. The Golf Aston a little bit further back is back out, which is good news. He's running a lap or so down though, Thomas Enger, and maybe even more than that, actually possibly about 6 laps down, I think. But for the final time, the 41 car of Maxime Martin turns up through turns 12 and through turns 13, down through the sweeping corner of 14. It was the
driver Frederick Makovici, who took the start of the race. He held the lead at the first corner, gradually began to pull away. Under a little bit of pressure was Maxime Martin, but the man who drove a superb lap in qualifying to take pole position for this qualifying race is also going to take the win in the qualifying race to claim 8 points and pole position for tomorrow's championship race. It's the win for Maxime Martin in the Mark VDS racing car that he shares with Fred Makovici. Second place for Richard Westbrook. I've no doubt he'll be pleased with that. Thomas Enger comes across the line in the Golf car down in 17th place, so not really a representative performance from him. Then we've got a good 20 seconds or so to wait for third place, which should be Jamie Campbell-Walters, but a brilliant drive from the 41 car this afternoon.
Absolutely, and they did what they had to do. They got the lead at the start. That was key to winning this race. They got ahead of the Nissan they shared the front row of the grid with, and once they got that clear air, they had on average 1.5 seconds advantage throughout the race.
So here comes Stef Dusseldorp across the line, flashing his lights, making that move on the very final corner. We've still got these two Lamborghinis right together. Darren Turner is in there as well, along with Hohen Ardel. Hohen Ardel was following Darren Turner for most of that race, or most of his stint, I should say. Doesn't quite make it, so Nissan 5th, Lamborghinis in 6th and 7th, Aston Martins in 8th and 9th, and 10th position is going to go the way of Christopher Nygaard, who had that great battle with Mark Henrici, who should come home in 11th place. But we go on board with our race winner, Maxime Martin, and he takes the victory along with Fred Makovici. They'll no doubt be very, very pleased with that performance. As I say, not really having the outright pace that was a lot quicker than everyone else, but just that pole position really was crucial in the end, and that early lead they built up. So an impressive performance. And
interesting, just trying to just do a quick calculations on the championship standings in terms of the drivers. Really little, in fact virtually nothing has changed. Only 1 point lost to the Michael Krum Lucas Lure car. That lead now down to 13 points, but none of the other top 6 in the championship managed to score in this qualifying race, from my quick assessment of the results. And really, I'm surprised. I thought it might have been more than that.
Absolutely, and that'll be more crucial tomorrow in the championship race, where there's more points on offer. Of course, as we've said, these finishing positions will become the grid for tomorrow's championship race, where there's 25 points on offer for the race victory. So tomorrow is when we'll really see the championship positions changing, but today is where we've seen a good indication of who has pace and who doesn't around this circuit. And the Ford GT, very strong. The Nissan's very strong as well. As we've said in qualifying earlier on, when the Nissans arrived, they didn't think they were going to have the pace here.
No, they didn't. They came and saw the circuit and the configuration, which is 18 corners in a relatively small layout, 3.77 kilometers, just over 2.3 miles. They didn't think they were going to be in a position. They had all of their 4 cars in the top 8 in qualifying, and there you see joy from Fred Makovici and Maxime Martin. Richard Westbrook sportingly shakes the hands of both the drivers. They knew they had a good race going on. Maxime Martin knows that Richard Westbrook is a mighty competitor, and great job done by Peter Dumbreck equally in that car with Richard Westbrook to put it into position to give Richard Westbrook the chance to consolidate the 2nd place.
Definitely. So it's Maxime Martin who takes the win along with Fred Makovici. 2nd for Westbrook. So let's hear from our race winners, Maxime Martin and Fred Makovici.
Congratulations, Max. You turn your first pole into a win.
Yeah, it's fantastic for the whole team. Fred did a perfect start, perfect stint, and the car was very good. So Richard Westbrook was behind, but no, it was good and a very good race, and I hope we can do it the same tomorrow.
And Fred, congratulations. It certainly is the track for the Ford GT.
Yeah, sure, it's perfect for the team because they do an unbelievable job, and it was not so easy to exit first at the first corner, but after it was not, the car was really constant. It's perfect for us.
Thank you.
Excellent, great to hear from our 2 winners. They seem pretty comfortable, pretty confident with the car as well, and that's a very important thing in a long race such as this. They knew exactly what the car was going to do at every corner. The 41 Mark VDS racing team taking the victory then, as we see the Exim Bank Team China car just about to be cleared. Neither of those cars finishing the race, a real shame, as we will now go down to our 2nd place men, Richard Westbrook and Peter Dumbreck, there with Haley.
Congratulations, Richard. Finally, another good result for you.
Yeah, and it's a long time coming, and yeah, we're delighted to be back on the podium, and completely unexpected here. It's not a track that we turned up expecting much. We were hoping to pick up some good points, but we didn't even dream of a second position when we walked the track on Thursday. But we've worked tirelessly with the engineers, and they've given us a really good car on a slow track, which is a bit of a Nissan shocker. And I just wish we had this car at Sachsenring and Navara, because yeah, it was nice to drive, but the Ford just had that little bit too much. It was a bit too comfortable to him.
And Peter, congratulations. No, that upgrade and that extra time been spent on the car has certainly paid off for you.
Yeah. I mean, I think the break in between. Okay, the car's been getting shipped, but they've been working back at the factory and thinking of ways to improve the car, and it's really worked for us. So hopefully we can take that on for the remaining. Well, we've got tomorrow obviously, but the remaining 2 rounds as well. And it'd be nice if 22 could score at least 1 win before the end of the year. A proper win.
Thank you, guys.
Cheers.
As they've said, it's been a very frustrating season for them. They're lying quite a way down in the championship compared to where you would expect them to be, down in 11th place. Good start of the season, as I said, 2 podiums in Abu Dhabi, a win in the Algarve, but they've had 5 retirements so far this season. Let's hear from 3rd position men, Jamie Campbell-Walter and teammate David Brabham.
Jamie, congratulations. Great result for the team and for the GTR.
Yeah, Brabs and I have had a good run of late and seems to continue. We came here not thinking that the GTR would be that great, but it's actually turned out to have 2 cars on the podium. Another one in 5th place. I'm not sure where Michael finished. So great result, great starting position for tomorrow. This man did a great move on our teammate Bernaldi, so really happy.
Congratulations, David. Is this where the birthday celebrations start to begin?
Not birthday yet, but yeah, no, it's like Jamie said, it's a great result for the GTR and Sumo Power, and well done to Car 22 for finishing 2nd. So we got the Nissans up front there for tomorrow. Very much looking forward to the race. I feel like momentum's kind of building for us. So great job by the team, and they gave us a pretty good car in the race.
Thank you.
Well, as we celebrate the top 3, which we will do in a moment, it's worth pointing out the number 3 Texas Racing Aston Martin, Clivio Piccioni and Steph Dusseldorf, did a fantastic job because they started down in 9th place on the grid. So to get up to 4th, it was a great drive. They gave us plenty of entertainment.
Well, I mean, certainly Clivio Piccioni did give us a lot of entertainment during his driving stint and got that Aston Martin into position, which then was the platform for Steph Dusseldorf to continue. And again, a great manoeuvre on him to get round the Corvette towards the end of the race, and once he was passed, then he just steamed forward.
Absolutely. So as I say, both Exim Bank Team China cars retiring, which is a real shame for the Chinese fans that have turned out. They didn't even get to see their man Ho Pin Tung race, but he will be starting tomorrow's championship race. So as long as they can get those cars sorted by the start of tomorrow's race, they should be able to see him race. Belgian racing cars also be getting some setup tips or something like that. 1.7 seconds the gap at the end then between the Ford and the Nissan of Martin and Makovicky ahead of Westbrook and Dumbreck. And then it was 30 seconds back to the Nissan in 3rd place of Jamie Campbell-Walter and David Brabham. A real dominating performance. They too were quite clear of the Aston in 4th. We had the Nissan in 5th. Then we had the 2 Lamborghinis in 6th and 7th. Again, fairly close towards the end. That battle down towards with the 2 Aston Martins was very close indeed. You can see just 1.5 seconds from Winkelhock and Basseng down to Hohenadel and Piccini down in 9th place. Then we had 2 more Ford GTs, the 2nd Mark VDS car and the Belgian racing car of Nygaard and Hershey, Henrici and Linders, with the Nissan GTR finishing in 12th place. Our championship leaders Lucas Luhr and Michael Crum with no points to show from this afternoon and not really a very good starting position. Benjamin Lauenberger and Michael Lauert got to the end of the race, which is good news for them in their first race. Jan Clary and Antoine Leclerc getting to the end as well for the first time since Silverstone. Jonathan Kennard and Christopher Brook did get back out, but lost a lot of laps in the process. Jimenez and Rossi retired with a few laps to go. Thomas Enger and Muller also lost a number of laps with car problems, and we saw Ho Pin Tung and Jerome Denber out very early on in the race, which is a real shame, but hopefully they can get those cars sorted for tomorrow. Here's a look at the championship. As we say, in the top 6, nothing really changing because I don't think any of them scored points out there this afternoon, but things are going to change, apart from obviously the 1-point game for Basseng and Winkelhock will claim. But tomorrow is where the big points changes are going to occur. It's still Crum and Luhr at the top, but they will be starting considerably behind their main championship rival of Markus Winkelhock and Mark Basseng. In the teams championship, JR Motorsports and Alinkle.com Munich Motorsports now tied on points at the top, and only a point between the two Aston Martin teams, Hextis and Young Driver. So we're really going to see some inter-manufacturer rivalry coming into the remainder of the season. Of course,